the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always, it's me, Kip, and then to my left, sorry, screens are weird, I got Chris. How are you, Chris?
Dude, doing great. We're coming back. We've both been to Red Rocks already, and the Avs are crushing it.
Dude, life is starting to return to normal just as the warm weather is coming back to Colorado, and we couldn't be more fired up for it, whether it be live music, restaurants opening back up, we're taking these masks off. It's vax and wax season over here, Stoned Appetit. And the one reason we're really fired up is because of our new sponsors for the summer, our friends over at Shop Callie's Cannabis. They have got a location up in North Glen on 144th and Huron, but as you're listening to this, they just opened a brand new location in Rhino on 34th or something like that, and Larimer, right next door to the new Right Cream, and right across the way from Gold Point and Rye Society. So it's in that little clusterfuck of descriptions I just gave you on Larimer Street. But these guys over at Shop Callie's, they're not only bringing you the finest cannabis that's grown here in Colorado, my personal opinion, I'm biased because they pay me, but also they have extracts. They outsource all of their concentrates and edibles, and they do it at a fair market. Rather than scalp you once, they'll just give you a haircut. So they'd love to have you come back in. They have rewards programs, neighborhood discounts, and industry discounts for those that work in the restaurant. Go check out our friends at Shop Callie's new location in Larimer, or if you're a Burbs, go up to the Burbs in North Glen. They got you there. And they recently just bought up Bio something or another at it's West 8th and Colster. So you should be able, there's 3 locations coming to you this summer. Check them out at Shop Callie's. That's SHOPPE Callie's, CALLIES. Instagram, Facebook, check their website, see whatever the deals of the day are. It's a great location, great people. We love working with them. All right, got through that and only said the F word once. It's a pretty good ad read.
Nailed it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we're coming to y'all today. We got a Zoom. We'll probably try to use the videos as we got this going well, but we're coming to y'all with a little bit of a different story. We're sitting down with Hester Jennings, Jennings Hester.
Jennings Hester, yeah.
Holy shit, you got the double middle name. It could have gone either way there. We're chatting with Jennings virtually today because we want to learn a little bit more about his project. Some of y'all may have heard about it, but it was in 303 magazine. But he is Fishing the Good Fight. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep, we're a nonprofit based here in Denver, and our goal is to improve all lives by serving men facing mental health challenges, and we do that through fly fishing.
I fucking love it. And, as everyone, especially in the Colorado demos know, it's a very cathartic experience. You can get out there. It's, you just time on the river. It's relaxation. It's a great concept. And so when I was reading about it, I'm enthralled. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, we like to start every episode the same way. And Chris, I'm going to give you the honors. Do it for me.
All right. So here we go. Are you a transplant or a native to Colorado?
Transplant.
He
like
says
one of us.
He's one of us.
I'm even another Southerner like you guys.
Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
The Dirty Bird.
Dirty South.
I mean, I guess I could have seen that with the logos on the back, but our listeners didn't know that.
No.
Tell us a little bit about what brought you to Colorado. How'd you get here? What's your journey?
Yeah, so grew up in Atlanta, was a competitive football player, went on to play at Alabama under Nick Saban, was part of his first recruiting class. And so football was, really my whole life. And in college, my 3rd year, I had a career-ending injury that I was moved to what's called a medical scholarship. So you don't lose a scholarship place on the roster, so they can bring in another athlete that's healthy, but I still get to go to school and finish up my degree. And, I started dealing with some depression and anxiety at a young age towards the end of high school. Didn't really know what I was dealing with, like most men. And once football was gone, it started to dive. And it had been my crutch my whole life. And the depression and anxiety just got worse. I kept, just kind of going through life, doing the normal jobs, all that bullshit. And finally, it just got to such a bad point that people couldn't be around me anymore. And, I eventually got help, but backpacking, hiking, I had access to the Appalachian Trail. Those were huge therapeutic outlets for me, and eventually fly fishing as well. And so I just knew I had to get west. I didn't know how. I was like, I'm going to find a way. And I eventually found a job that actually kept me in college sports, which is cool. Alabama is still a customer of mine in my current job, and found a way to get out here. And so I went down the rabbit hole of fly fishing and fly tying and just became a total junkie.
When did you come out here to Colorado?
So it's been a little over 3.5 years now, I think. So February of 2018 or 19, somewhere in there.
Okay, fairly new.
Yeah, and I don't mean to railroad the conversation as we navigate into the Colorado scene and things, but I do want to give a little bit of a shout out. I usually shit on Bama and Alabama football and things of that nature. I mean, I didn't realize the medical scholarship and then, working with them afterwards, it's like they do, in fact, take care of their own. So I'll tip of the cap to Nick Saban as someone who just beats us like a drum. I don't usually like to do that, but it sounds like, that is kind of an interesting path that you've navigated.
It was, yeah. And like, it was something that me and Nick talked about a lot, over those 3 years was I kept dealing with the same hamstring tear. And, we at the end of the season, every player has their reviews and, talking about the next year and expectations and all that kind of stuff. And, we're just like, does this make sense to keep trying? I mean, I've seen every specialist, like nothing's improving. I'm losing weight, strength, speed. Like I'm a shell of the player I was when I got here. So it wasn't like it's time for you to go. It was a conversation. And then I had the opportunity, if I wanted to continue working with the team as a GA or working in the weight room. Like it's not something where they're just like, see ya, good luck, piss off.
As a not athlete myself, but a pothead, I have zero frame of reference, but I've seen the cool videos of y'all's workout rooms and y'all's, the cafeteria where the players get to eat and stuff.
Yep.
Honestly, you're a little bit older, so these may be a little bit more newer things after the most recent of 6 championships. But I mean, it's just like gnarly. So I want to pick your brain later about it, but I also have some more questions because I think the Fishing the Good Fight is a fantastic outlet. And you're right, getting west and then kind of harboring this. What kind of made you realize that this was the career path or this was something you wanted to do to share with other men?
That's a good question. I mean, so, the average time between guys starting to experience symptoms of any kind of mental illness is usually about a decade and between when they get help. And that's what I experienced. And, it's from a lack of awareness and from the stigma around it. And men just don't have the same support system. So, I knew that I wanted to find some way to transfer my story and my rough decade plus of struggles that could have been avoided to other guys. I didn't know how. I thought about doing it with athletes. And then I started tying, and I go down to my local brewery and I just set up my fly tying vise and I tie flies down there, and people just started asking if I sold them. So I was like, maybe we can do something good. Maybe there's a way to give back in the community somehow. And really cool. One of my best friends went to high school together. He lives out here. He's a board member. He incorporated us as a nonprofit for my birthday in 2019 and said, go bitch, like let's make the move. And so, that forced me to make the leap and start to figure out exactly what this was going to turn into.
That's awesome. So this is going to be a pretty basic question. I'm not an avid fly fisherman. I enjoy getting out there and dicking around and giving it a whirl. Being a football player, are your hands not just like incredibly too big to be tying fucking flies? I mean, at the bars, it's just people like drunk patronage. They're like, hey, at least he's doing it for me. I don't have to worry about it. But how are the knots for you? I mean, look how big your hands are.
They're not small, but no, it works. But I mean, they do shake a little bit from the amount of hits I have. So that's the more of the struggle than the size of the hands.
About that, yeah. So I guess we don't like to, I feel like fishermen often don't like to give a little bit too much away about where they like to fish.
Yep.
Give us a little insight. So if somebody, how we can contribute and help, but also what is it like when we go on one of these adventures?
Yeah, so we host retreats, and so they're full weekend overnight retreats, and we partner with this group called Rare Waters that leases land from ranchers that have private water running through their property, and so we have private locations where we can control the environment and no one else is there. So we bring out a licensed therapist. We have 3 mental health sessions, group sessions throughout the weekend. There's individual check-ins with that therapist if guys want to dive deeper into things. Then we're doing fly fishing instruction. We lead about 4 different courses on water instruction. So we have guys that are, everywhere from they've never touched a fly rod to they fish every single week. And, we're able with the experts that we bring out there, we're able to help everybody wherever they are in the mental health spectrum or the fly fishing spectrum. And, get you started, get you, going down the path of how to set up your own rig, what to look for on the water, what to tie on to the end of your rig, how to land the fish, how to release him, where you're not harming the fish, all sorts of stuff. But the easiest
one course. So it's like, it's for everybody that's like novice all the way up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We make the instructional sessions optional, cause some guys are legitimately almost comp level fishermen, so it's like, if you just want to go fish, that's fine. But if you want to learn what the different components are on your rod and how to just get onto the water, we'll teach you.
Yeah, that would be totally me. Cause I bass fished growing up and stuff in little lakes and shit around Alabama. But I've never been fly fishing out here.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm more of a hiker myself, but we have tons of friends that have done it, but I've just never I don't know enough, so I haven't gone. But I had a question about this. Since you guys do have mental health experts there and things like that, is this if somebody were to sign up for one of these, is it covered by insurance or?
Mm-hmm. To pay for it? No, it's not covered by insurance.
Okay, but I mean, so if you go here, if you take one of your are they all weekend long retreats type deals?
Right now they are. In the future, we plan on hosting just day long things and guided trips once we formally become a licensed outfitter in the state. But that's a little bit of a process. So right now it's weekends, but then we do fly tying nights, teaching guys how to tie. Because honestly, tying has been just as therapeutic for me as fishing.
Right.
Just the mindfulness of it, being present, focused on what you're doing, not thinking about any other, stressors, any other shit that's going on in your life. You're just focused on tying that fly right.
Yeah. Do a lot of these people who come on these retreats, do they stay in touch with these mental health experts, or do they continue therapy? Is that kind of a partial goal to this, or?
Yeah, it's a total mixed bag, just like the level of fishermen that come on these things. Some guys have seen therapists for most of their lives. Some guys have never been to one. So, some of these guys, it's unpacking stuff that's been weighing on them for decades, and then they didn't know it. And then they're able to stay in touch with the therapist that comes out. We partner with a local group called Elevated Wellness. That's just awesome. And they get resources after the retreat to help them. These group sessions, all of them are designed around different themes to give them tools to go home with on how to deal with mental health issues. So there's definitely a big takeaway component on the mental health side of things, and then we have a handful of guys that have found their therapist through these things, and through our blogs, and that's what gives me chills, man. When guys are able to be like, hey, dude, I found my therapist through you. Things are on the up and up. I'm fishing. I'm happy. That's the home run.
Yeah, that's incredible.
As we're in the middle of it, I have 2 quick questions. We've referenced the company. Where does somebody that wants to maybe use these resources, as well as, either book a trip or just learn a little bit more about what you're doing? Can we get a quick update address or a website address or else, something like that?
Yeah, we're on all the social platforms under Fishing the Good Fight, and then our website is fishingthegoodfight.org. So there's all the